And similarly, in the Red Chambers, President of the Senate, Akpabio, has declared that recent protests witnessed in some states on the harsh economic situation in the country are sponsored. Correspondent Kolojo reports that Akpabio made a declaration on Tuesday's plenary after the presentation of a report of the Joint Committee on Banking, Finance, National Planning, Agriculture and Appropriation, headed by Senator Abdullahi Yahya. While stressing the need to immediately address the issue of hunger in the country, Akpabio revealed that in the last few months, state governments received 30 billion naira each to tackle the current hardship faced by citizens.
A lot of sponsored protests here and there, but those people are not aware. Most of those sponsored protests are not aware of the kind of efforts being made by this Senate to tackle the situation, together with the joint management team of the federal government of Nigeria.
Meanwhile, in an extensive debate, Senator Adamu Alero argued that some state governors, including some retired ones in the Senate, were beneficiaries of 18 billion naira as shock observer under the Ways and Means since 2015.
Each state government in 2023 was given 18 billion naira at once. Some of the governors that benefited from that 18 billion naira are here. I'm sure Governor Lolo can confirm that.
And they did not, and they did not repay the money by the time they came to the Senate.
The Senate President thereafter maintained that owing to the current economic situation, it has become evident to thoroughly examine the Ways and Means funds.
30 trillion ways and means, not what President Tinubu can bring. This Senate will not rubber stamp anything that we feel is not in the interest of Nigerians. And that is the reason why we are discussing. Am I right or wrong? Those who are in support of what the Senate President is saying, say aye. Those against say nay. So
Deputy Senate President Brau Jibrin also explained how the intervention monies were extended outside appropriation without the knowledge of the Parliament, and so noted that lawmakers have a right to interrogate the expenditure.
Include the fact that we can still go and investigate what we pass. So we are open to investigation, and there was a caveat at that time that we're going to investigate, the details must be provided. So we are waiting. Anytime the Senate feels that we should go to investigate that, we investigate that. So for one now to say, for what happened then was a collective responsibility.
As the issue of whether or not to investigate the matter raised open another debate in the Red Chamber, some lawmakers suggested that a special committee be set up to scrutinize the 30 trillion naira intervention disbursement, some of which were grants and ways to mop them up. The Senate, however, resolved to set up another committee to investigate the details of the Ways and Means, including various intervention programs such as the Anchor Borrowers Program, monies given to state government, manufacturers, aviation, banks, access funding in the power sector, among others, which raised the current debt profile of the country.
What this chamber approved was 819, and we said that the other monies that has been spent cumulatively to, was it 20-something trillion, that the details should be provided. It has never been provided to date.
If some people spent money before bringing it to the Parliament for approval or appropriation, where did they get the money they spent? Because they spent money and they came here to look for approval over money they have spent. Now it's not an obligation again. It is classified as obligation, 30 trillion.
For the National Assembly to find out what happened. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, nobody in this chamber should suggest
that we shouldn't look to anything that we feel is in the public interest. But let me say this very clearly. What Nigerians want today is food. What Nigerians want today is food.